Hello, grade 2 students. Welcome to your science class. Before we begin, I would like to make sure that you're all ready and that you have your pen and copybooks in case you need to take some notes. Our lesson for today is about design process. Here are the objectives. First, to define design process. Next, to enumerate the steps of a design process. Take a look at this picture. What do you think is happening in here? He is an engineer who is testing the robot that he designed. You must be wondering, how was he able to build this amazing robot? Well, your guess is right. He followed the design process to come up with this robot. What is a design process? A design process helps engineers define a problem and plan, test and share a solution with others. You must have questions like, how did engineers manage to build this robot? Or what did they build it from? And so on. First, engineers drew pictures of what they wanted the robots to look like. Next, they got materials together to build them. In the next video, watch what engineers do.
Engineers solve many kinds of problems, from building dams and skyscrapers to exploring space, to making sure that electricity works in your house. They use math and science to solve all these problems. While engineers solve very different problems, they use a similar set of steps, called a design process, to do so. A design process helps to define a problem, to find and test a solution, and finally, to share a solution with others.
Engineers don't just build stuff out of the blue. They go through a process that would help them become more successful with their inventions. And we know this as the design process. The following are the steps of a design process that an engineer follows. Step 1. Define a problem. Step 2. Plan and build. Step 3. Test and improve. Step 4. Redesign. Step 5. Communicate. To help us further understand how a design process helps engineers, here are some guide questions. What do engineers do? Engineers use a design process to solve many kinds of problems. For example, when they build bridges, they must consider the number of cars or people that will use the bridge, and the weight, capacity, and the height of trucks that can pass through. Those things are important when they design a project. How does a design process help engineers? A design process helps engineers to define a problem and test solutions. Through design process, they can pinpoint which areas of the project can cause problem in the future, and they will have to find a way to solve it to prevent it from happening. How do you think a design process helps engineers? Design process help engineers find a solution to a problem. And finally, why is it important to understand a problem before designing a solution? It is important to understand the problem so the most appropriate solution can be designed. That's it for today. Well done!